Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Photo Tip Fridays. Who's ready to have some fun with Live Wonderful? Thank you guys
Yay.
for joining us. Hello, Alicia. My name
Hi,
is Danielle, my
everybody.
dear friend Alicia Tartugno. We are here, your storytelling guides, coming to you from Live Wonderful here in Orlando. And Alicia, where are you coming in from?
I'm from Massachusetts, the Boston area.
Boston. So we got the whole East Coast covered. Where's everyone else coming in from? Tell us where you are hanging out and what town you're in. I know we're all looking at screens and hoping to have some fun with our cameras, but we want to hear where you're from. Florida, yes, yes, or Oviedo. I'm in Orlando, Central Florida. So we want to welcome everyone. We're going to give everyone a few minutes to come on here. We've got a great group of ladies and gentlemen who are going to join us. I'll just start by giving you guys a little background on Live Wonderful and who we are and what we're all about. So we have decided to do these free Photo Tip Fridays because Alicia and I have enjoyed these online classes. We are both professional photographers and storytellers who our main mission in life, I think we just said that, Alicia, it's life mission, not just our works mission, but is to inspire you guys to see life through a new lens and realize that we are all creative, we are all storytellers, and we want to show you how to use that camera to really tap into your creative powers by harnessing the power of visual storytelling. So today is going to be all about the camera's side of visual storytelling. We come to you every Wednesday on Instagram Live to talk about, we call it Wednesday Wisdom. And there we're talking a lot about the life side of photography and how we fit it into our lives and enjoy life with the camera. But today is about an actual tip. We want Friday to feel like a day for you guys to have some fun this weekend and get your camera out, get away from social media and our screens, and get behind the viewfinder to really enjoy creating stories and bringing your stories to life. So who's ready to have some fun? I want to hear from those of you. I know I see a couple of familiar names on here. If you've been hanging out with us on these webinars before, are you enjoying these classes? And if you are enjoying them, what are you doing to enjoy them? Like, how has it helped your photography? Tell us about some of the shots you've taken or maybe places you've explored. What and the real goal here is not just to start this interaction and connect with you guys. The whole point of our community here is to bridge that gap. We want to know from you guys, what do you love to shoot? Because we want to make sure we're relative, right? We're actually like giving you guys examples that mean something to you that you can go out and practice and have fun with. So share with us in the chat box there. Tell us what you're interested in. I have a really cool thing that I've been shooting. I just finished shooting. Alicia, have you done any fun shoots lately?
What was the last one?
You just did that cool bar, that cool Insta bar.
Yeah, and a newborn shoot too. The Insta bar is very cool. It's, how can I say this? It's a really creative outdoor space made to bring people together and take photos on these big painted walls, and they interchange them, and it creates for a good Instagram backdrop. And I will be teaching some workshops hopefully there soon in the next few months.
And then what was your you said you did a newborn shoot? Oh my gosh.
Is it a lot of newborns, a lot of babies lately. So
I know there have been a lot of babies. Tell everyone what the theme was for your newborn shoot. I thought this was amazing.
Oh, that one was a Star Wars. So it was decked out in like Etsy kind of Star Wars gear, and I just felt I wanted to get every little Star Wars like memorabilia in the room too. So those are always fun.
Those are fun. I just did probably one of the most challenging portrait shoots that I've ever done. And I love them because they are challenging. I think that's a big part of what we stand for. And most creative photographers love to push those boundaries of our comfort zones, right? But I didn't think too hard about this one. I this is her third child, and her oldest two are 5 and 3. So it was their first full family photo shoot with the newborn baby. But she had a 3 and 5-year-old brother who were literally jumping up and down the whole time in the photo shoot.
It's hard with 3 kids.
It is so hard.
One. I don't even know how we do it sometimes. You just do
I don't
it.
either, but I know. So I want to welcome the people who are just joining us. Thank you guys for coming in. Kelly's coming in from, does that say New Mexico and California? That's so awesome. Coming from the West Coast.
New Mexico.
We do too. Actually, I don't know if you can see it, Kelly, but all the way, hold on, I'm going to point to it. Do you see that photo right there? That's the Delicate Arch from out west. And actually, funny enough, that's where Alicia and I really just like connected. And, this whole idea of Live Wonderful became more of a solidified, like, actual thing. Was like, we are doing this. So very cool. Thanks for joining us. So like I said, guys,
someone
Jasmine says
black screen. I don't know.
Screen. If you have any technical difficulties, please let us know. So Jasmine, if you're having a black screen, try and log out and log back in. Try and click that link again in your email and come back into the class. Or if you're on your phone, you can like swipe out of it and come back into it. I may have some internet issues, but I hope, this is fairly new for us. I don't know how much longer we can keep saying this is new for us, but, as technically savvy as Alicia and I are, the online class programs have been a fun new challenge for us. So I apologize for any mishaps that happen, but please let us know. So like I said before, guys,
growing by the minute, by the way. It's so humid here.
I heard it's getting, oh good, Jasmine can get on now.
Oh good.
Yeah, the weather's getting better, I hear, up there today.
Yeah.
Good.
Warm.
Great.
So hot.
Yeah. Hey,
anyway.
I don't want to hear about hot. We're in Central
I know. You guys are way hotter.
So yeah, and you see this hair I got to deal with in the humidity.
I don't know how you do
it. Guys, we love coming to you and having these conversations. Alicia and I try and get together every other month, at least in person, but having these online classes is a great place to feel like a real community. So I want you guys to jump in, ask questions, anything like you literally have the ears and eyes of 2 professional photographers right now, live for you, okay?
We're here for you.
What's that?
I said we're here for you, always.
Yes, we are here for you. So like I said when I first opened up, here at Live Wonderful, we are all about helping you bring your stories to life. And this is the 13th free photo tip we've done for the whole month of May. We did them every other day. We did them 3 days a week, and we got through 12 in 1 month. And it really helped that group of people get this well-rounded understanding of what it feels like to be in the moment, behind the lens, and be able to run with any sort of possibility, whether, the light changes or your idea changes or, your subject's not what you thought it would be, or whatever it may be. We threw out 12 really specific tips to help you do one thing, and that is become more aware of your surroundings to help you identify these things that are going to tell your story, right? That are going to bring your shot together. So what we want to do now that we know we're having fun with this and we're going to keep rolling with these tips is we want to come back to that original idea of what it means to be creative. And on Wednesdays, we're doing Wednesday Wisdom on Instagram Live. One word we're going to share, and we're doing a whole discussion about how this word can help us live wonderful. And then here on Fridays, we're going to take that word and morph it into a tip. How can we take that word and now turn it into an actual action where we can go out, use our cameras, and literally see life through a new lens, look at things differently? So Did anyone join us? I'm wondering if anyone who's here in this group was able to join us on Instagram Live, because sadly we had a little mishap there too, and it didn't record correctly. So anybody who saw this Instagram Live was only able to see it actually live. But if you didn't join us,
wisdom, went off with the hedge.
we're so wise.
Sorry, this one will be recorded.
Yes, exactly. These are all recorded, by the way, guys. Our Friday photo tips by Saturday, my goal is to get them on our YouTube page. So if you go search, if you're on YouTube or you want that constant inspiration, just look up Live Wonderful on YouTube. You'll find us, the same logo in the top corner of your screen now. So if you miss any of these, they'll be there. So the tip, the word we used to relate photography to life. Oh, good. Kate said she missed a few. Yes. You could always catch us on on YouTube. So the word we used on Instagram this week to relate to what it means to live wonderful was self-awareness. And some of these words are going to be really obvious if you continue with us. They're going to be obvious how they relate to photography, but some maybe not so much. So I wanted to really kick off the rest of these photo tips with a really strong foundation. And self-awareness is the foundation to everything in life, right? So, we believe everyone is creative and everyone is a storyteller. And because of that, if you're going to be a creative storyteller, you need to be aware of what makes your perspective of this world different than anyone else's or unique enough to capture it, right? To go, Alicia, I've seen Alicia shoot, so I know she knows what I'm talking about when I say that you'll be clicking and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got it. I know where I want to go with this. I'm just going to start, you kind of you literally see your whole perspective and where you want to take this story. So the way I want to help you all take this term and this idea of self-awareness, which maybe we'll revisit a little bit since it didn't get recorded. I have a little exercise I'll share with you on it. But the way I want you to take it into your photography is to literally notice with all of your five senses, which I know a lot of you have heard me say before. But when you notice through the viewfinder, I want you to be aware of how close or how far away you are from your subjects. Now, what does that have to do with telling the story? Well, it puts you in your perspective, right? It puts you in this place of knowing, if this is my click, then I'm gonna get that tree and the, whatever. You're gonna get all this stuff. Or am I really honed in, and really what I'm focused on is this tiny little detail, which means I want to get physically closer to my object. So that I know, and Alicia, jump in at any time, I know that is kind of the first way that we assess any situation. When we first come to a photo shoot and we're building that self-awareness, that's what I'm thinking about is, okay, how is my atmosphere? Where am I in my surroundings? Where's the wall? Where's the light? Where's the, what colors you're looking at all these different things coming at you, and you're assessing how far away am I from my subject? How big of a space do I have? Or is it a tiny ring at a wedding and I need to get way over there to that table and get in super close to it to actually get that story that I'm trying to tell?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anytime I shoot, especially with other people, or different subjects, I take at least 10 minutes, beforehand to not only make myself aware of my surroundings, like you were saying, the light, what's happening, the wind, like you said, the colors, where I might want to place subjects. That in itself is good, but being self-aware with my subjects as well and taking that time to get to know them, and in that feeling and self-awareness as well there. I think that's very important. Environmentally you know, and emotionally kind of connected with that subject.
Absolutely. I think they are simultaneous. I think you can't have one without the other. And mind you, I know for a fact that a lot of us, and this goes for just being human, the act of photographing other humans in our lives, portraits, is natural, right? I think most people want to understand that. But these tips ring true for nature photographers, wildlife, landscapes, travel, sports. These ring true for anything. In maybe a family portrait, while you're assessing the light in the family's home or your own lighting, you're also assessing who they are, the type of energy they have. How can you mirror their energy and either make them feel more comfortable or step out of giving them any direction to let them fall into their own comfort, right? So it is an amazing thing to become aware of yourself, your subjects, and the space you're in. And I like that you said, yeah, your surroundings. I like that you said that you give yourself about 10 minutes. Guys, that just gives you an idea of how much we have to immerse ourselves into our space before we even think about picking up this camera. And it doesn't matter if I'm shooting in a studio with the same kind of lighting every single time, which was my life for 4 years. It doesn't matter, because even if that's the same, your subject is always going to be different. Like, my different personalities come through that room. But even if it's a landscape, you still need to become fully aware of how small you are to that wide open world, and how are you going to showcase that in a photograph? How are you going to either feel and make it look like you're small, or make it feel like, you know, you're in this big space? So self-awareness, we've talked about the 5 senses before. And I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Eckhart Tolle. I know, Alicia, you sent me a text earlier today. I don't know if you remember that, or if you have it and want to bring it up. I can't remember. I would love that. You guys are going to hear a lot from us on the living, wonderful side of things. This is what lets me go to sleep at night and know I have a purpose in this world. I too go looking for mentors and people who can help me feel grounded and feel like I'm still growing and learning and expanding my awareness of my creativity. And Eckhart Tolle is he's not just one of my favorite authors, writers, speakers. He's one of the best people that is so disconnected from society and the way he lives and chooses to see the world, and yet he can still explain things really easily in layman's terms to make all us, like, you know, regular people feel like we've got it together. So he wrote The Power of Now. There's a lot of great books.
That's a great one if you want to become more present in the moment too. Yeah. Power of Now.
So I wrote an article recently on the blog. If you go to livewonderful.com/blog, you'll see it there. It's called Expanding Your Creativity Through Awareness. And at the bottom of that 5-minute read is an exercise. And the first step in that exercise is something I learned years ago from Eckhart Tolle, but it was that taking a deep breath, a conscious deep breath, does 2 things for you. One, it puts you directly in the moment, and it stops your mind from overthinking. It literally puts a pause on the craziness going on in your brain.
Yeah, so there's not think and breathe at the same time. Well, we tend to do that all the time subconsciously, but really when you're focusing on your breathing, you cannot think.
Right. When you are counting or just going, how much of a breath can my body expand, and how slowly and strong can it expand or contract? It's incredible how much you have to go in and focus. And we have to do it when we're shooting in low light, and we have to get our settings to dial in. You know, we can't move too much. We have to learn that as photographers. So that article is really great because writing for me is another creative outlet, and writing that article helped me realize how much just being behind the camera, you can't help but build self-awareness. Like, it's natural. It just happens because you are dialed into the moment and trying to control those settings for it. So taking a deep breath, Eckhart Tolle calls this a portal to the present moment, a portal into the now. Conscious deep breath, not I'm aggravated, so okay, back to being me. Like, consciously giving yourself at least 10 seconds and watch your brain turn off easily. In this exercise, I add to that by, once you've done that once, now tap into your 5 senses. What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you see? And what do you feel physically? So those are all things we can do very quickly with our mind. But as soon as you have an answer, you're so in tune with what's going on around you, you have a million new stories to look at. You have a million new ideas for pictures to take and how you can see that area differently.
Absolutely.
Did you find that quote from him?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them in that little slide. Do you want me to read some of the ones?
Whichever one calls out to you that you feel like really hit you.
Okay. Well, there's a couple. I'll do 3 of them.
Okay.
A higher perspective, a higher level, the existence of order and disorder, or order and chaos, is a necessary part of the evolution of life. And so your life then moves between order and disorder. You have both, and they're both necessary. So here we are at this time, and our mission is the same: to align with the present moment, with whatever is happening here and now. So you need both.
I love it. I have goosebumps because in a different way in that article, I talked about the ebbs and flows of falling. I don't like to use the word falling, of moving between your ego and the self. And when you are in constant identification, when you are in constant labeling, when you are in constant trying to figure things out and put it in a box and make things perfect, you're in your ego.
You're a psychologist, photographer? That's amazing.
I read that. That is very cool. I want to hear more about that, Kay.
Yes.
So when we are in the chaos, we are constantly looking for order, right? And when we're in the order or the harmony, the balance of things, when we feel at peace, we're trying to hold on to it. We're like, oh my God, I've got it.
Yeah.
So you need them both because you can't stay in one or the other. You physically can't. There's always change.
It's very hard to accept, but then once you do, you know you're very self-aware of it. I need one. I have to have one to get the other, and vice versa.
So when we can step above both and look at it like a movie, which is something we mentioned in the IG, the Instagram video, when we can look at our perspective, the point, the intention of our story, the goal of that shot, and become aware of ourselves outside of it. I like to think of myself as coming out of the movie. I'm no longer the actor in the movie, but I'm now the watcher on the couch. If you can go back and forth from being in the moment and dealing with the chaos of trying to see it all and label it all, to backing out and looking at the whole thing and being aware of it all, in between is when you find your best shot. In between is when the magic happens. In that flow is when that shot you wanted becomes a million times better of a shot, but it would have never happened if you hadn't let go of what you thought that shot was supposed to look like. So it's like this constant. Yeah. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, no, it totally does. I don't know if it does to anybody else, but you'll feel yourself actually kind of get lost in that moment. And that's a very good moment of being so much in that present moment, whether you're tight on a little bee and like on a flower, or, you know, anything for that matter. It happens to me all the time. And I know, like, I'm in my moment, I'm in my element. I feel that I'm present. I'm focusing on that. I'm trying to capture those stories, whatever it is. And you'll feel it. It's a great feeling. So don't try and push through it too. Like sometimes it's like, ooh, you're in your comfort zone. You gotta push through those comfort zones. Sometimes you might have to, you might have to, how can I say this? Just get a little closer to somebody, or I don't know. It just, there are uncomfortable feelings sometimes to get that really cool shot, that story you're trying to tell. So being self-aware of that and not letting that overwhelm you.
Yes. And there's so many layers to this, guys. Alicia and I together combined have been shooting for over 25 years, and it is still for the rest of our lives going to be a game that we have to play without knowing how the game's going to play out, right? So every shoot, every moment of picking up that camera is okay. Like, how do I find that flow again, right? But awareness is that first step. And it is uncomfortable when you take that leap, when you get out of that comfort zone, when you're kind of like, I tend to think of it like you're on the edge of the tightrope, right? Where you're like, oh my God, I'm on the tightrope, but I could fall at any second, but I'm here. You know, you're not holding on anymore. So it's like, you realize it, you become aware that you're out of that comfort zone, and your first thought is to get uncomfortable. But if you let it just be for a minute, that I've actually done it in front of students on photo tours, where I will purposely go, Danielle, it would be more comfortable for you to just keep walking and not do that idea you just had in your head, but you're going to go do it. So whether it's get too close to the swan at Lake Eola who's squawking at me, but I really want to get in on his eyes and his beak, and I'm like, all right, let me show, I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to push my boundaries, because in my mind, I have this vision for a shot, and I realize, I become aware in the moment, if I want that shot, I have to physically get closer to my subject to make that happen. This is a problem because of cell phones, I think. It's also a good thing. They've allowed photography to literally be in our pocket, to be available at any second. But because they're so automatic and so good at just zooming in, you don't have to move your feet. People just stand there and click, click, click. And when we actually get behind a viewfinder and push through and get closer to things than we think we'd like to, you'll realize how much it's fun to be out of your comfort zone. As much as it's still uncomfortable, it's still this cool place to be, where you're like, this is how I'm going to get my story. This is how I'm going to get my shot.
And I want to add something to this too, is for the longest time, I was self-aware of putting myself down or thinking I had to do something a certain way like other photographers, or this and that. And as soon as I got out of that mindset and let myself just be free and do me, and whatever creativity came to my head, and seeing, you know, those stories and life through my own lens, I didn't need to compare myself to anybody else, even Danielle. You know, we're both two very different people. So you got to be self-aware of that and stop those voices in your head. And once you can do that, I think that's a huge step for self-awareness, especially in this type of industry. If you're, you know, trying to go professional with it, or even not, you know, you just want to be creative and have fun with it. Don't worry about don't worry about feeling like you need to be the best. Like, it's
right, or perfect, because we teach this in our classes too. There is no right or wrong. There is an intention, there's a goal, right? There's like an idea or starting point of what you think you need. And if you can get there, you will eventually get to your version of right. You don't there is no perfect formula, not just in settings, but in the perfect shot, right? The beauty of this is that everybody's perspective is going to be a different creative view of a story. We can all stand in the same spot and take totally different pictures. So giving yourself the chance to make mistakes so you can learn from them, and not get frustrated, not judge yourself, not let those voices get to you. And then because you're accepting that and allowing that, just go shoot like crazy. Let go of, let me tell you guys, still to this day, I would say 50% of my shots at least are complete crap. No one in the world is ever allowed to see them. They're so horrible.
Same with me.
And another 25% are me. Maybe I'm a little perfectionist, so maybe a little more than that, but probably like 25% I'm like, wishy-washy. And 25% are like, all right, cool. I got something good to work with here. And maybe 5% am I proud of. 5% am I like, hell yeah, this was awesome. I got my shot. This is the grand. So think about how many shots we are taking, not because we need to take a million shots to get the perfect shot, but because we need time to build our awareness of that moment, of that story. And if we don't push through those comfort zones, which is going to mean making a lot of mistakes, then we're never going to get to those money shots. We're always just going to take average pictures. So we have to be willing to take a lot of mistakes as we're pushing to get those really, really great ones. And, you know, the only other point I really wanted to bring up. I didn't.
1 second. I have to pay my stomach grinder. 1 second. I'll be right back.
Go. I will keep this going, guys, because I don't want to forget this. But another thing to keep in mind with this idea of there is no right or wrong and comfort zones and awareness is if you look at kids and how they just don't care, they're very much in their own world, they haven't quite hit that threshold of their full awareness, right? But it also gives them this beautiful, magical space of not caring and being comfortable in where we as adults would be uncomfortable. They're willing to go and stand and say and do different things and be weird. When I teach my kids photography classes, the things that I watch kids do and the positions they get in to get a shot, us adults would never do that unless we were being forced. Like from getting upside down, from getting super close to like an ant on the ground to, you know, the other day I had a kid, we have these elephant ears in our park here in Orlando, and elephant ears are literally huge ferns that are about 10 feet tall. And he got down and he went underneath of one. It got down on the, like close to the water, and got near one and looked up and was shooting up underneath of this huge plant. And I have never seen an adult do that. And I've been shooting here for 4 years. So kids are a really great example of how if we can just learn to let go and play and not be right all the time and not be perfect, but just enjoy the space of playing, it will it'll help take that pressure off of having that perfect shot. And it'll give you the space to build that awareness. Because if we're constantly worried about how we look and what we're doing and if we're doing it right and if I'm even using my camera right, if we're constantly in our heads worried about those things, there is no way you can actually be fully aware of what's going on around you and build that awareness. I just told them about how kids don't have any problems with comfort zones, and we see that time and time again. But as adults, we build up these barriers of what we can and cannot do, and we box ourselves in.
I admire kids. I always try and say, go back to being a kid again. You know, we get into these habits and adult ways of thinking, and we lose that the joy of life. So
okay.
Again.
Okay. Hey, I think we need to chat. I don't know if we've met before, or if you've been in my classes, but she is a play therapist. I want to hear more about Kay. And Kay, if you are willing to tell us in the chat, we'd love to hear it. That's amazing. A play therapist. So I actually
live in wonder. That's why we always, love being inspired by kids, because they're in wonder always. I'm sure that she sees a lot of that with plays and people trying to step out of their comfort zones.
Yeah.
That's the play I'm thinking about, like acting.
I would love to know, Kay, what does it mean to be a play therapist or a psychologist photographer? I know all of those terms individually, but I would love to know what they mean together. If you want to share with us, please do.
All right.
Oh, awesome.
We got a link.
So, one of my big awakening moments, or moments of going, I'm going to live life the way I want to, and I'm not going to box myself in, was I went to a really fun event called the Evo Room, the Evolution Room. And it was this grassroots movement. It started in San Diego. It's now called the Conscious San Diego Community. I love it. She's trained to work with kids and the kids in us. Inner child. Another huge therapy lesson I had an awakening moment with was you are always trying to come back to our inner child. So I went to this retreat, if you will, called the Evo Room, completely unaware of where I was going, what I was getting myself into. I knew a few of the people getting involved with it and having fun and facilitating there, and I wanted to photograph it. So I said, sure, I'll come. I didn't pick up my camera once the first time I went because I had so much fun playing like a kid. I literally came into this retreat, and it wasn't a retreat. It was just a beautiful home. It was someone's home. But the whole front lawn, imagine this. Okay, we have all adults, I think, listening in. I want you all to imagine this and tell me where your judgment goes, because it's probably exactly where mine went. I pull up to this house at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I look out my car window, and the entire front yard is like a playground. Literally, there's a playground, there's a basketball court, but they're all adults riding around. There's adults jump roping, hula hooping, playing basketball. Some of them were squirting squirt guns at each other. Full-blown adults, not a child to be seen. And I'm like, what is going on? I was like, I immediately started judging. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. What is this all about? Da, 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 da. This is dumb. This is silly. This is going to be uncomfortable. And I go up to the door or the gate, and I open the gate to go in, and the lady goes, hey, you want a popsicle? You want to jump rope with me?
Yeah, I want a popsicle.
Yeah. It was the whole point of the beginning of that was to shock you, was to get you out of your head. And, all the people facilitating were having fun on purpose. And once we went into the home and started doing the workshop through the day, each of them gave us this aspect of life where we could play again. One of them was with our food and, what we intake for energy. Another one was the energy we put out in our work with our kids. So it was just this cool aspect. I'm saying this because of what Kay does, of how do we as adults see ourselves and realize we need to let go of a lot of our conditioning in our mind so we can get back to playing, because that is where the creative powers come in. That's where you really tap into
my mind right now, and it's the movie Hook. And when Peter is actually sitting at the long table with all the kids, and he doesn't see the imagination, he doesn't see the food on the table, and they're just like, just look, Peter. And then all of a sudden he looks, and then they start having this food fight. Like, it's the same kind of concept of being an adult and getting stuck in our own way, and being able to come back to that imagination, come back to that sense of wonder, and be that, that inner child again.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys,
I love that.
That's the point. The term that literally came to my mind, I woke up in the middle of the night living out of a backpack, volunteering in Southeast Asia, not having a clue what I was supposed to do with my life other than photography and talking a lot. I woke up in the middle of the night and said, I just live wonderful. I want to live in wonder always. I want to be in awe of the magic that is life and still be able to push through, grow, enjoy, and put something into play. Take that photo, share a story, teach something, learn something. So live wonderful. That's exactly what it means. And I hope that, this
and it's
first
much
or
more
now
than just photography. It's much more.
It is, yes, it is. But photography for us, and I hope for everyone who's listening in right now, photography for us is the bridge that connects us to that inner child, that present moment, that creative power that's in all of us. So if no matter what kind of camera you have, or if you think you're creative or not, or if you have people in your life who maybe feel like they need that creative outlet, the camera is perfect for everyone. It's in everyone's pocket. We are all natural storytellers. That's what it means to be human. We are obsessed with telling stories. Hello, social media. Like, we love connecting, talking, sharing, telling stories. And the camera, the photo, does that instantly for us. And what's the old cliche? A picture's worth 1,000 words. So visual storytelling is another portal. When you look at a picture, when you are having your photo taken, or even more importantly, if you are taking the photo, you can't help but be so self-aware of the present moment if you are really in that moment, right? If you're really taking that photo and creating that story. So I wanna thank you guys. I'm gonna click on Kay's link here and check out the Center for Family Unity. Thank you for sharing with us, Kay. And I'd love to hear more about it. I want to thank you guys for joining us on our first, but not really the first, Free Friday photo tip. Free Friday photo tip. I'll get it. We're going to do this every Friday, guys, at noon. We're going to try to stick to noon so people feel like they have a lunch break. If you are a worker on the weekdays and you need a lunch break, hopefully this is fun. You can join us on Wednesdays at noon on Instagram. I threw it in there, but our Instagram handle is at livewonderful_. So the L looks like a big L. You can find us on Facebook, Live Wonderful Photography, and of course on our website at livewonderful.com. We have all kinds of photo tours coming up. We do online classes for photography as well. And you guys can catch us here in Orlando doing, tours locally and, photo sessions locally here. But hopefully we are also coming up to the New England area. Whether it be summer or fall.
We're gonna do it.
We're not quite sure yet, but we do have some workshops happening in Maryland this summer as well. So Live Wonderful is growing. No matter what's going on in the world, we are all still growing and expanding. And I hope you guys will join us next time. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks, Alicia, for coming on with us. I love having you.
Love being here.
Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Thanks again. Yes. And I hope you all live wonderful. Bye, guys.
Bye.